The average American has $17,000 of personal debt with a revolving credit card balance of over $5,000. Most millennials feel like they aren't on track for retirement because of things such as student loan debt, consumer debt, and a poor wage to living cost ratio. Debt is such a burden that it really hinders people from doing things like buying their first house and starting a business and taking these calculated risks. It is seriously an anchor that just holds people back. So it's no secret, we've probably all been there at one point in our life. I have been in credit card debt, and it is not fun. I know with carrying debt comes a lot of shame and guilt, but we've all been there before. You are capable of paying off your debt. You did the first step, which was even finding this video, so congratulate yourself on that, and let's get you taken care of. In this video, we're going to cover different types of debt, steps to prepare for your debt payoff, strategies for your debt payoff, and how to avoid it altogether in the future. So if you haven't already, go ahead and grab yourself some tea, some coffee, a notebook, and settle in because we are about to make this very simple for you. In the world of finance, there are a few different types of debt. Now, this might be the first time that you've heard this, but not all debt is bad. In fact, the wealthiest people in the world use debt to their advantage, and it looks something like this. Let's say I have $500,000 cash and I want to buy a $400,000 house. I have two options. Option one, I buy the house outright in cash. And option two, I put 20% down and take out a loan at, let's say, 3% for the rest of the home value and invest the rest of my money. In short, if the interest rate that you are borrowing money at is lower than what you could get putting your money to work, be it investing, starting a business, buying a short-term rental property, whatever it may be, then that debt is considered good debt. Things like a credit card, personal loan, or high-interest auto loan are considered bad debt. Basically, anything that doesn't make you more money should be paid off as soon as possible, and that's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. So before we prepare for this debt payoff, there are a couple things that you need to do first. And with that means knowing exactly what your debt is. So you're going to make a list, and the things that you're going to cover is the type of debt, the balance of the debt, and the interest rate. Now, this is not something to ignore or be ashamed of or skim over because it is really important, because if you're doing this without this step, then you're just kind of doing it blind. It's really not going to help you that much. Step number two, track all of your spending. Now, this is where a really good budget template comes in. I have one available in my shop tagged down in the description below. There's also a couple other free resources that I'm going to have linked in the description as well. The true goal of this step is actually to find out just where your money is going. Now, when it comes to budgeting, there are a ton of different strategies out there, but the thing that works for me is I don't cut out a bunch of Starbucks, I don't minimize my eating out, I don't really do anything that takes away from my life. I'm just putting eyes on it. I'm just understanding where things are going. To think about this, I want you to treat your money like a business. Think about Apple. At the end of the month, they don't go, oh, where is all of our money? Well, no, they know where everything is. At this point, I just want you to know, how much are you spending eating out? How much is all of your living expenses? How much? So if you treat your money like a business, then I promise you that the areas that you are overspending, like let's say Starbucks, it will be a little bit easier to say, you know what, I don't need it today, because you've seen the impact of that. Versus if you're just saying, oh, I'm gonna cut back on Starbucks, you're gonna get 3 days in and you're gonna just say, this is pointless, I don't see the point in this, it's a $5 Starbucks. So again, we aren't initially taking anything out of our budget, but you're just a little bit more realistic, and you're gonna find that little voice in your head saying, I think I'm okay today. Number three, outline essential expenses. Now that you've seen where all of your money is going, it's time to see how much money you need just to survive. So this is gonna be things like rent, groceries, utilities, dog food, car insurance, nothing fun, just the bare minimum. And then I want you to make a list of the things that you want to spend. Like maybe you want to spend $20 a week on Starbucks, or you want $100 of shopping money. So then you're gonna have a need to spend list and a want to spend. And again, this is things that you want to do but could live without given a crisis. So once you add up the total of these two lists, the first goal is that your monthly income even covers that. And by the way, if you're getting value from this video, it would be really helpful if you hit the thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. Now, step 2 is to minimize the want to spend list. Now, like I said before, you don't have to go crazy with this. You don't have to hinder all fun out of your life. It's not like that, but it's just, again, being a little bit more realistic. So perhaps you have all of the streaming platforms. You can call up a friend. They have them too. You can share passwords so that you're just cutting back a little bit of the excess. So now that all your money is organized, it's time to set up an emergency savings fund. Now, this topic is highly debated in the finance world of should you pay off debt or should you save? And my thoughts on that go like this. So let's say you're driving and you get a flat tire. You have to spend $400 on a new tire and you didn't have any savings. So as you're paying off your debt, now you have just increased your debt by $400 because you didn't have a savings account. Not only that, but starting an emergency savings fund also starts just the discipline and the mindset to control your money the right way. Now, if you are carrying a large amount of debt, there's a good chance that there's a disconnect between the emotion and the logic. And this is, again, just kind of that first step in maintaining your money the right way. The average recommendation for something like this is between 3 to 6 months of living expenses. So again, that need to spend list calculated by however many months you want to save for, saved in a high yield savings account. Now that you've done the prep work for this debt payoff, there are 3 main strategies: debt consolidation, snowball, and avalanche. Debt consolidation works like this. Let's say you have 5 different loans totaling $45,000 with an average interest rate of 25%. Instead of paying off 5 different balances every month, you can actually get a loan that's going to be for the total $45,000 at a potentially lower interest rate, let's say 18%. So this can just be a little bit easier for you to actually pay off in one payment, slightly lower interest rate. But a big warning on this one, it's not really my favorite. And 2, there's also a lot of kind of predator companies out there who try to help you, but they really are just getting a piece of the pie. So keep that in your back pocket, but let's keep going. Another potentially good option for debt consolidation, which is something that I have done in the past, is opening a 0% interest credit card and doing a balance transfer. So take this Discover It card, for example. It currently has a special of 15 months of 0 interest on a balance transfer. So that means you take the balance of one credit card, pay a 3% fee to send that money over to this new Discover card, and then you have 15 months to pay off that balance and you aren't getting charged any additional interest. The third consolidation method would be opening a personal loan to pay off these credit cards. But again, a big warning, whatever you're doing in this section, whether you are opening a loan or opening a credit card, please be careful. If you are not ready and serious to go about this the right way, then just skip this section altogether. It's not worth getting yourself in more trouble when you had the right intention. It's just kind of all or nothing with this. The snowball method works like this. You take all of your balances and you put them in order to the smallest balance down to your highest balance. And you start paying off the smallest balance first. So again, you're still paying your minimum monthly on all of these balances, but that extra money that you found in the previous steps is going to go towards the smallest balance. The benefit to this is that you're going to cross off in a couple weeks, a couple months, multiple of these debts off the list completely, which is huge for your psychology and just mental endurance to keep going at this and feeling like you're making progress. So if you haven't caught on by now, personal finance, and of course debt payoff is no different, has so much to do with psychology, with your emotional control and just your ability to manage money mentally. So for a lot of people, the snowball method works great, but you are going to end up paying more in interest in the long run. So my next favorite option is the avalanche method. With the avalanche method, instead of ordering your debt by balance, it's going to be by interest rate, and you're going to pay off the highest interest rate balance first. The downside to this, of course, is that it's probably going to take a lot longer for you to scratch off a balance entirely, which again, you're still saving more money in the long run, but psychology is huge and if it's just not gonna make you feel any better, then what I personally would recommend is, let's say, like I have in this example, you have a balance of $2,500 and then the rest are in order. Maybe just take off that little one first and then go by interest rate. So that way you're kind of playing the two and you can make yourself feel a little bit better while still not sacrificing actually saving money. So if neither of these options are working for you, or let's say you've calculated it all out and you're gonna be paying off your debt for the next 3 years, another thing that you need to do is make more money. I know you're probably thinking, geez, why didn't I think of that? Like, it's painfully obvious, but here's the deal. You've saved as much as you could. You cut back on your expenses as much as you could. You're implementing a system to pay off your debt and it's just not cutting it. That is the remainder of the equation. So maybe this is getting a second job, asking for a raise, starting a side hustle, or at the very least, personal favorite of mine, go around your house, find some things that you can sell on Facebook Marketplace and just make a little bit of extra cash. For other ideas on how to make money, maybe it's starting a business, investing, a side hustle, be sure to follow the channel because I'm gonna bring all of that over. But in the meantime, if you wanna hop over to my TikTok and Instagram, I already have that short form content posted up. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to ask. And again, if you've made it this far, I would love a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm as it helps me very much. So that wraps it up for this video. I appreciate it and I'll see you next time.